Here. Say that again about Bull Connor.
Bull Connor was never the chief of police, like most people think. He was stronger than the chief of police. He was the public safety commissioner. He controlled the fire department and the police department. So he had the whole city in his hand. If you take a walk through the park, remember this right here, young lady, because you'll see it again, the Freedom Walk. Now, let me introduce you to this church. This is the 16th Street Baptist Church. The church was organized April 20th, 1863. This building right here was built in 1909. It was bombed September 15th, 1963 at 10:22 a.m. The monument that you see at the end of the park is the last monument that was dedicated to remember the girls who died in the bomb of the 16th Street Baptist Church. Across the front of it, you see a picture of 4 girls. Everybody knows about the 4 girls, but you also see a picture of 2 boys. Most people don't know about the 2 boys. And you also see a picture of a 5th girl. Most people don't know about the 5th girl. On the side of the monument is a sermon that was preached that day. It was called A Love That Forgives. The preacher simply wanted grown people to go to City Hall, turn around and come back. Don't argue or confront if you get stopped. Just turn and come back. The girls in the building set up tables, set up chairs, getting food and water ready. Both the girls came back. It was actually 5 girls in the building. One came out to get food and water out of the car. She turned to go back in. The bomb went out and killed the other 4. Let me show you where they placed the bomb, young lady. This is a very historical journey that the mother's bringing on. I was 8 years old when this church got bombed. Behind the church used to be a group of white shotgun houses. Shotgun houses was impoverished houses. This was really a poor neighborhood. And this church was a central part of this community because we had invited Dr. King here in 1962. Young man had been here 8 months, and he had lit a fire scene. Everybody was real inspired by his message and what he wanted to do to change our lives. Right here is the actual spot where the bomb was placed. The FBI knows where the spot because of the powder residue. They know how many bombs was there because of the capsule, how many bits of dynamite was there because of the capsule that they found. They know where the bomb was placed in because they found 2 buckets that they put back together. They know the timer. They knew it was there. They knew when the time was made. They know who manufactured it. At the top of this stairwell, at the top of this clear window here, used to be a doorway to the top of the stairwell. The stairwell came down to this spot right here. They brought the bombs in buckets. There was 2 5-gallon buckets containing 25 sticks of dynamite in the tower. They took out this whole bottom section. The back door wasn't there. They just took the rear of the church to the top of the stairwell. They took out this 2nd window, this 3rd window, along this big bay window here, young lady.
Hey, how you doing, brother?
The only thing he took out was the feet of Jesus' face, his hands, and his feet. The country of Wales have restored these wonders, and the only alterations that was made, you look at his face, you see him looking back. You look at his hands, you see him live.
Did you say what part of the stained glass?
The only alteration that was made,
what part was taken out by the bomb?
his face, his hands, and his feet.
The face, hands, and feet.
What's the only thing that was taken out?
What's the only thing and that's Jesus, right?
Yes. And the country of Wales have restored those ones, and the only alterations that were made, if you look at his face closely, you'll see him looking back.
Me too.
If you look at his hands, you see the nail print.
I see
don't see
that.
a nail print.
Come over here. Come over here. See it now?
You look at the hands and you can see like a little mark on the hands on the stained glass.
I see it now.
Yeah.
After they bring the 4 girls' bodies out of the church, you see over there on the sidewalk a pair of shoes, and on the bench you see a pair of glasses. They noticed a pair of shoes and a pair of glasses on the sidewalk. They went digging through the rubble of the stairwell, and they found the only surviving member of the bombing of 16th Street Baptist Church's body. Her name was Sarah Collins. If you look up on Facebook, today her name is Sarah Collins Rudolph. She's the only surviving member of the bombing of 16th Street Baptist Church. She married a young football player from our historical black college named James Rudolph. And today they dedicate their lives traveling around, keeping this story alive in every city. And they just left Philadelphia. After the bombing of the church, the police had this whole area cordored off. They wouldn't let nobody in, and they wouldn't let nobody out. The whole community was coming down to see what was going on in the church, because the church was a simple part of this a movement that was very important in people's life. We had just invited Dr. King here, so everybody was coming down to see what was going on. Nobody wanted to be responsible for the young man's life. He had been here 8 months, and he had lit a fire in the people. So everybody was coming down. One young man, his name was Virgil Well. He come from a community on the street called Smithfield, riding on the handlebar of his brother's bicycle. 2 white young men, one 16, one 19, knocked the bicycle over, attempted to beat the 2 boys. They ran. Virgil didn't get away. They shot him in the back, they shot him in the head. The other young man, his name was Johnny Robinson. He's come from a community of the street called Fountain Heights. He's with a group of young men. The police said they was throwing rocks at the police car. They busted up the group. Johnny was the youngest member of the group. He panicked and ran. They shot him in the back. He died 2 hours later. So where you see the monument at, on the side of the sermon of the priest, you read that it was a total of 6 children lost their lives in the city that day. The reason history don't say much about the 2 boys, on the next corner is the Hugo Black Federal Courthouse. Hugo Black was the judge that tried the 2 boys that killed Virgil Well. Hugo Black was also a historical fact, the grand dragon of the Ku Klux Klan. He gave him 6 months probation. He sat in his desk until the indictment came for the officer that killed Johnny Robinson. In the state of Alabama, they have a law called harmless error. It would take 1 night crossing of the T, 1 night dotting of the I to get you off death row. Just so happened the jury foreman that set down the indictment was also a member of the Klan. He conveniently forgot to sign the indictment, so they threw it out. So in that day, history don't record the 2 boys, but the historians of that part couldn't forget about it. In 2006, the effective bombing took its toll on the church. They started having these cracks in the wall. You see places where the wall was mended. It was much worse. The back wall literally started separating from the building. The foundation had shifted so badly, they couldn't keep water out of the basement. They solicited contributions throughout the community to help restore the church. They came up with $280,000. Wasn't nowhere near enough to restore this old building. The pastor of 16th Street Baptist Church, young lady, I always remember his name. His name was Arthur Price Jr. He's the youngest man to ever come pastor this church. He's on the Edda Magazine's top 100 most influential black men in America. Since this church has been established in 1873 until today, it has only served 16 pastors. And I promise you, this church has had fireballs. And it's an honor for him to be here. It took 5 votes for the deacon to let him in. And on the 5th one, he went and spoke to the church. And they made them accept. He said the idea came to him in a dream. He applied to have the church dedicated as a National Historic Landmark. And the only way the church could hold that accreditation, you had to use the same bricks that were used to build the church and come as close as possible to the mortar that took to bind the bricks together. This young man went in his pocket and took out loans and sent the man all over the United States. The only state that limestone hill, the mineral elements that were used in the making of this mortar, was North Dakota. But they found it. And applied to dedicated church as a National Historic Landmark and sitting at the 2 bay doors at the entrance of the church from the Department of Interior. Now let me go to my notes.
You got notes? We just ran into you on the street, and you got notes, brother? What's up?
These? But these are the things that they wanted me to add to what I'm learning about the church. Frequently asked questions. Where are the 4 girls buried who were killed in the bomb blast? Adam Mae Collins, Carol Robinson, and Cynthia Wesley are buried in Greenwood Cemetery out by the airport. Lisa McNair, she's buried in Shallow Lawn Cemetery in southwest Alabama. Where are the Klan members who was convicted in the bombing of the church? Robert Chambers died in prison in 1985. Frank Cherry died in 2008. Robert Blanton, they called him Dynamite Bob, he is still serving time. Last question, where did the congregation worship after the bombing of the church? On that corner over there is the A.G. Gaston building. At the back corner of that building used to be a convention place. They held parties and stuff called L.R. Hall. The church worshiped at Eli Hall, and the space was donated by Dr. Jackson for 2 years until they restored the church.
Let me ask you a question, because I have to stop videotaping in just a second. My question is this. So you're saying that this church was in the middle of an all-black neighborhood. Is that correct? And this was segregated Alabama, segregated Birmingham at this time, right? Okay, so the people that grew up in those segregated communities, I understand a lot of them are well off now, as far as people like Condoleezza Rice grew up in this neighborhood and things like that. And so was this like considered a middle-class neighborhood, a poor neighborhood, or was it a mixture of different kinds of people from different educational backgrounds and like the way we define stuff now, working class, middle class?
This was an
impoverished neighborhood.
We were poor.
Okay.
On that corner, they had a hotel. Now, this is a personal opinion of mine. On that corner used to be a hotel.
A black hotel.
Yes. When I was coming up, at the hotel, you had prostitutes. Back wasn't no crack back then. You had people selling teas and blues, yellow jackets.
Teas and blues, and what are those?
Shoot up the things that they used to shoot up.
Oh Lord, Jesus. Okay.
And they had marijuana dealers.
Right.
And they had the speed dealers.
Right.
On this corner was a laundromat. Next to it was a car wash. That's how the people that leave the church didn't pay no attention to the bucket. They figured somebody had just knocked the hustle and left the bucket.
Okay.
But right here, you see a group of white shotgun houses, ma'am.
Right here behind the church,
Right here behind
some
the church.
shotgun houses.
Yes.
Okay.
And ma'am, it was going down in them houses. You had the bootleggers, you had the gamblers, you had the dice game, you had the alley was where the prostitutes used to go.
Do they think?
In my personal opinion, ma'am, ain't no way possible a white man came to this church on a Saturday night and put that bomb in.
What do you think it was?
Ma'am, if you have ever lived in the hood, you know it's going down on a Saturday.
Yes, you do.
And they are moving.
Yes.
Ain't no way no white man came to this
And
church.
put that bucket there. Because I grew up in a black neighborhood, and we always watch everything. Anytime a white person rolled down the street, everything stopped when we was kids. And everybody just would stare at them. So if white men did come on a Saturday night to do that,
it was going down
with
them.
Yeah.
They drinking.
Yeah. Somebody would have saw something. So that's the conspiracy theory that's never really got played, right? Because people don't understand the culture that was surrounding the church. So that story hadn't been told.
Then Dr. King was here, and he was going to speak that morning at the church after grown people got back.
Right.
And also you had Reverend Shuttlesworth here.
Right.
So
I've met him before.
Somebody was watching this church.
Right.
There was somebody in this church watching this church.
Right.
A black man put that bomb in, man.
You think?
I know.
On behalf of somebody else?
I have a comment for this whole conversation. If the Ku Klux Klan was still living, I'd need a butcher knife and a handgun and a body bag.
Okay, see, you a hot mess.
Yeah.
And we're going to end with the butcher knife and the body bag from the 10-year-old.